Bill Gates is psychotic. What the hell?
Here's how the average man's life would change if he never...
Oh, and TikTok binge. Y'all want to see a TikTok binge today? Yeah. W streamer. Appreciate y'all for real, bro.
Bill Gates had a problem. So one day I'm chilling in my car listening
God damn, why is he talking like this ASMR?
to this documentary about Bill Gates.
Like I could hear his lips smacking like
And I'm trying to get some inspiration.
word of my mother, I just said that.
You know, because for those of you that don't know, Bill Gates is one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
He founded Microsoft, and he has a lot of charities going on. So I said, okay, let bro teach me something. I turn on this documentary, kindest music starts, dun, 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 right? His mom opens up and says, you know what? Bill was always a little bit different. He didn't play with anybody. He didn't have any friends.
Same.
Not because he was alone or anything. That's just
relate.
because he did not play nice with others. And that is foreshadowing for...
Wait. My fault. Yeah, I know I gotta pause and read. Of Gates' personality quirks, his own father once told me that Gates' mom found their son's behavior traumatic. He refused to submit his...
What's to come? Bill was just a little bit different. They talk about Bill Gates in high school, and let me be clear, this documentary was not meant to make Bill Gates look bad. In fact, I believe it was meant to make Bill Gates look good. But there's only so much you could say about Bill. And you'll see, again, what I mean in a moment. So Bill Gates enters high school, and they say, Bill Gates, a bright young kid, goes over to high school, and like his mama said, he don't play well with others, so he's...
Oh yeah, I gotta read this. Family, his teachers, and fellow students, Gates rejected the social contract he could... Oh, I might get exposed. I low-key not a good reader, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if reading was scale 1 to 10, I'm probably like a cool, like, 7, 6. Like, I'll be real, like, 7, bro, because, like, bro, I'm not reading for real. Niggas wasn't reading. Real niggas didn't read. But hold on. Family, his teachers, and his fellow students, Gates rejected the social contract. He cracked jokes or responded with sarcasm, and his favorite phrase, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Those words would later be as familiar to his employees at Microsoft. Holy shit. Microsoft as they were in hallways of Seattle, Lakeside. Yo, don't...
He starts stealing people's projects. That darn Bill. Yeah, so what Bill Gates did was he had a super close friend that he worked night and day with on computers. And this is when computers were like first becoming a thing. Like they were trying to perfect computers and all that. He's working night and day on computers. When they start to get near the finish line, he tells his friend, look, I'm the leader now, just straight up. Just I'm the leader now. You're second to me. Whatever happens from now on, they talk to Big Bill. They talk to you second. Forces it in. That was just Bill. He didn't understand any other way. He didn't understand negotiation. He said, this is mine now. Okay.
Bob Bay understands his hands. I wish a pencil thing was trying to rob me.
No, I'm saying, you know what? Bill was wild back in the day. Have you seen Bill's mugshot? Bill did not care.
He went to jail?
Bill would throw those hands back. I feel like
chat,
if
what did he go to jail for?
To walk over to you on your joint project and say, this is mine now. You might want to watch out for that person. That person might be a little bit different. Kids, let me tell you, that person might be a little bit different. But kids, let me also tell you something. Don't let that man punk you out. Or, you know what I'm saying? That man or that woman, don't let them punk you out.
Because what if I'm different?
You know what I'm saying? But hey, kids, no violence, none of that. But don't let them punk you out. Anywho. Where was I?
I don't know, but I'm just saying one of us will have to die.
What?
Anyway, fast forward a few years.
What was that? Are y'all confused as I am? Chat?
Bill is deep in the computer game at this point, right? Another company is super deep into the computer game as well. Actually, two companies. One called IBM, one called Apple, and Bill's is Microsoft. Now, Apple was led by a dude named Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates actually become friends because they both realized they were both a little bit different. They would do whatever it takes to get these computers out, right? Get these computers out on the...
That's how you know you on the right path. If you're crazy, you're not crazy, bro. Like these people who like, feel me, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, apparently, feel me, they was a little crazy in the head a little bit, feel me. So if you do think you're crazy, bro, you're onto something, bro, for sure. I do think I'm a little crazy too. Chat, what y'all think? Yeah, Mario, a little crazy. Maybe just a little. Feel me? I feel like you gotta be a little crazy to like achieve anything in this world, bro. That's just my take on it. Because I feel like if you're just a normal mindset nigga, you're just gonna get a normal life. Okay, so if you crazy mindset, you're gonna have a crazy life. Is that a bad take? Because both these niggas was both a little crazy, and one of them made a thing where everyone uses for generations, bro. I mean, it's I mean,
A block. But IBM had way more money than Apple and Microsoft starting out. They controlled the space of computers. Now, again, Bill Gates, a little bit different. He said, not for long. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to be number one. Steve Jobs saying something similar, but the two would frequently collaborate. So here's where things start to get.
yo, imagine if Bill Gates and Steve Jobs made something. That's crazy that niggas was friends and they both made some shit we use today. So, damn, what y'all think they would have made? Microsoft Apples? Chat, what y'all think? Mar, I don't know. Shut up. Press play on the video. Stop yapping. Mar, nobody's even in here. Who are you talking to?
Wicked. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, goes over to this company called Xerox, okay? Xerox starts using this thing called a mouse, right? You know the mouse that you use? They start
Why do we call a mouse?
using this mouse to basically
Chat, what y'all think?
click on stuff to make paper. I don't know what Xerox does. They make paper, something like that.
They print paper.
They print paper. So Steve Jobs says, ooh, what that is?
What the hell?
Xerox says, no, we use this to click on things. Computers were not the computers of today. Computers back then were a little bit different. There was just like a black screen. You start typing stuff in. You know how coders be looking at? I don't know. My sister's a software engineer. You know how them computer folks be doing some computer stuff.
I think they even call them word processors.
Okay, so that's how computers were back in the day. There wasn't like Windows, icons, and the mouse. So Steve Jobs instantly realizes, oh, this is how I can get Apple on top by making the computer usable for everyone. Make it make sense, okay? So he goes home and he says, Apple 1.0 is finna come out and we finna take over the world. But my friend Bill Gates is smart as hell. And I need his help to fix some things behind the code. He says, Bill, come on over. Bill comes on over. And he warns Bill, because Bill has a company of his own. He warns Bill, Bill, I have something crazy that I'm about to release. I need you to help me with the code. But whatever you see, because he has the mouse, he has the Windows, he has the application. Steve Jobs has that. Apple has that. He says, whatever you see, listen to my words closely. He says, whatever you see, you cannot copy me until, let's say, November 30th. He gives him a date. You cannot copy me until November 30th. Because Steve Jobs thinks that he's going to release Apple 1.0 first in like October 30th. So he says, Bill Gates is going to take my idea. Anyway, he says, I at least want a month head start. Cool. Bill Gates says, all right, bet, I got you. Let me help you with the code.
Chad, is anyone else lost?
Comes around. Apple does not release their breakthrough Apple 1.0, the Windows and the mouse and all that, because there were delays. They had delays. So Bill Gates says, ooh, I'm finna slide in, and releases it as his idea. Now, there's actually a little misconception to the story. This is a famous story about how Bill Gates stole from Apple, but actually that's not exactly true. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, quote unquote, stole from Xerox. Okay. And that's how Apple lost the court case against Microsoft for stealing their idea. And we'll get more into that in a second. So it turns out Bill Gates already went to Xerox. It turns out he already saw how the mouse worked and all that. And he was gonna do it himself. In fact, Bill Gates has a famous quote, and I'm gonna read it for you right here because it's wild. He says, well, Steve, he's talking to Steve Jobs. He says, well, Steve, I think there's more than one way of looking at it. He says, I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox, and I broke into his house to steal the TV set and found out that you had already stolen it. Ooh. So he was gonna release the Windows and the mouse anyway. Bill Gates was already gonna do that. He just couldn't really because his friend Steve Jobs told him the contract. He said, I got it first and all that. Steve Jobs screwed up. Microsoft released it. So Apple says, nah, screw that. Steve Jobs was hurt because he thought that was his boy. Bill Gates gives him another quote. He says, literally, and they even said this in the documentary, if you don't want me to steal something of yours, don't show it to me. Straight up. Cold. He says that to his closest friends too. That wasn't only a quote he said to Steve Jobs. In the documentary, all nicey.
I mean, is he wrong though? Like, is he crazy for that? Nigga, if you don't want me to steal, nigga, don't show me all that money, nigga. I'm gonna take that money. Essentially, like, idea is damn near, yo, bro, don't show all that money. Niggas gonna take that. That's like the Dougie B situation. You flashing the bin, you in the trenches, brother. Oh yeah, we need that. We need that. Like,
nice. See, the assistant walks over. She said, yeah, I remember Bill used to always share that. He said, if you don't want me to steal something from you, don't show it to me.
Bro, I'll show you something. Right.
Bill. Nah, that's Bill. He says if I want it, it's mine, right? He says that in front of the courts too. So Apple tries to sue Microsoft, and Steve Jobs is doing it because he's hurt. They were close, guys. They were close. They were building this together. Like, they would always work with each other, always work on each other's stuff because they wanted to make the computer the best it could be. So Steve Jobs is basically suing Bill Gates, and the courts basically tell him what we said in this video. The courts tell him, well, both of y'all stole from Xerox. So what do you want me to do, Steve? But to get a little more technical in this story, you can't really say they stole from Xerox. They just weren't very nice. Let's just say Xerox shared the ideas willingly, and Bill and Steve both hired people from Xerox, but Xerox didn't know the gold mine they were sitting on. If you told Xerox back then, if you take that mouse and you take that Windows application and you make it into a computer, y'all finna be billionaires. They might have done it. But Steve and Bill ain't telling them that. They had their vision and they asked Xerox, can you show me more? You know what I'm saying? But after that whole fiasco, people started looking at Bill Gates a little bit different. He was a little too blatant with his thievery, and what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. So then Bill makes this insane shift. He starts being super, super charitable. He starts opening up charities all over the world. And he says, my new mission is to make this world a better place. And that's probably the Bill Gates you know today. Yeah, but it turns out Bill might be capping a little bit. And all it takes to find out if somebody's capping is one simple question. Why is Bill Gates still so rich when he gives away so much money? The math is not adding up. So people started to do a little bit of research. Investigative journalists start deep diving into Bill Gates' philanthropic nature, and they found out he gives away a lot of money, all right, but to big companies that have very powerful positions in the world space. He owns a lot of the healthcare sector and a lot of big companies in strategic places in general. Here's a little example for you. When COVID-19 happened, Bill Gates, and I'm not going to get too deep in the story, but Bill Gates was basically in a position from his charitable donations to big companies to make a lot of money from that vaccine. And this all sort of made sense to me because, again, people are people, but there are different spectrums of people, right? I'm not going to say my neighbor Joe is the same as, let's say, someone like Beyonce. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if my neighbor's name is Joe, but I know he not grinding like Beyonce grinding, like Michael Jordan grinding. Like, they have a different sort of mindset. You feel what I'm saying? Like, some people just think differently. Bill Gates' mindset, again, seems to be, I want it all. and I want it bad.
Get 30 to 50% off.
I mean, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that mindset, bro. Cause shit, that mindset made that nigga a billion air, bro. So it's like, hold on, let me see this nigga that word one more time. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, chat. I'm finna show you this nigga's net worth. And niggas like to make fun of the weird niggas. Yeah, brother. This nigga has 101 billion net worth, bro. I'll be fine being the weird nigga. I'll be fine having to. Oh yeah, I need that. Like, feel me? I'm fine with that type of mindset. Cause this nigga is worth 101 billion dollars. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? Psychotic? She's filthy rich. Let's try that. Like, come on, man. Billionaires don't become wealthy by being nice to other people. Shit. Fuck you niggas. Word. 101 billion dollars. Yo, bro. Yo, niggas can't even get a band. Niggas struggle to get a band. Brother God. Jeez. Shout out Bill. Inspiration, I'm not gonna lie. He just made me want to be a little more of a dickhead to niggas now. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Just a little tiny bit. Just a little bit. I be real cool with niggas, but it's like, hold on. The richest nigga is a dickhead. Hold on. So let me get my priorities straight. The fuck? The heli. Nah, that'd be video though. He should have had his sister in the top right corner though, and just, you know, feel me? But that'd be video though. I fuck with this nigga.